Hi, it's G. Things are a little bit crazy. It's -7. And it's not even December. It's not even near December. I was trying to scrape the ice off the car this morning. And it was so cold that the ice scraper broke into pieces. Which was cool because it's actually more effective in smaller pieces. Ta-da! Everything bad is good for something, I suppose. Do you like my hat? Who gives a flying monkey about fashion? Not me. Oh, tractor! Busy morning on the road. I have lived in Slovakia for almost 16 years. And I bought this hat the day before I moved to Slovakia. Bye-bye. I bought it in Camden Town in London. North London, down the market, where they got coats and everything you could ever want down the market there. They had all these underground tapes and recordings and all before the internet, connecting everyone together. Twice as many people live in London as live in Slovakia. Get rid of the stupid hat. Don't need it for the car. So, twice as many people live in London as live in Slovakia. That statistic is incredible. London, the melting pot of international financial criminal activity. The city of London. Used to work in a cafe bar in the city, in between jobs, and guys used to come in their suits and put the credit card behind the bar and just drink. Just drink. It was an odd place. Worked in the old Barings Bank building. Barings Bank was a bank that collapsed because one man invested too much money in the wrong stocks and products. I guess one man can make a difference. Although I'm sure many more people knew exactly what he was doing. You know what the #1 name for a boy in London is? It's Mohammed. A Middle Eastern name. What does that tell you about London? Who would want to live in a city like that? Where you walk down the wrong street at the wrong time and you end up in the middle of a... Well, you just don't walk out the other side, do you? Went to a concert once in the Academy in Brixton, famous concert venue. Right in the middle of the Afro-Caribbean area of South London. All these white people going to see an Irish rock band. And came out of the concert all happy and sweaty to find that there was a full-scale riot going on. The concert venue was surrounded by policemen clad in helmets and riot shields and batons and black padded clothing. The helicopters flying overhead, shining their lights down. It looked like some scene from a dystopic film. I guess that was just a sign of things to come. Of course, being the adventurous type, we decided not to walk to the local underground station, get on a train and leave the area. Me and my friend decided to go and have a look and see what a real riot was like. I don't recommend that. We sneaked through the police lines. You know, there's a stretch of road between here and the town, which is 15 minutes driving, always has people standing at the side of the road peeing. I just find that odd. That they can't pee before they get in their car. They can't wait until they get where they're going. I just find that odd. Anyway. Ooh, that was close. Right. Yeah, so it was interesting watching furniture get thrown out of second floor windows and crash down onto the street. Furniture, I mean couches, tables, cars on fire, people running around, the sound of gunfire as well. Ended up climbing a tree to escape the madness, I think, until the police let us out of the area. And that was 20 years ago, and nothing has improved since then. I lived in that area for a while in South London. Rented a room in a house. You could hear the gunshots at night, even in London. It was definitely not comforting or reassuring to know that the criminals had the guns and the good people didn't have any weapons at all except the lock on their door. Stay inside, everything will be fine. We have the situation under control. London has its zones and its regions, and you don't go out of your zone. I moved from a village with a couple of hundred people to a street with a couple of thousand. I had no idea who the neighbours were. It was a Greek and Turkish area. There was a cinema at the end of my road. If any of you live in London or have lived in London, it was Turnpike Lane near Wood Green, North London. Turnpike Lane is somewhere between Finsbury Park and Wood Green. I lived somewhere between Turnpike Lane and Seven Sisters, which is just north of Hackney. Hackney is an interesting area because there are no underground systems there because it's a marsh, it's an area of wet land and you can't build on wet land there. It means you have to travel overground to see everything. Funny thing is that sometimes it's faster to travel overground than underground. I needed to give myself 45 minutes to get anywhere. Fastest way of travelling in London is, I reckon, by bicycle. That's the madness of the city. Anyway, there was a cinema at the end of my road. And they had these cheap films on Monday because nobody goes to the cinema on Monday because everyone's thinking about work, school, studies. They've got their drugs hangover from the weekend because everyone does drugs. I'm not just saying that. There's not one pub toilet that's not layer caked in white substances. Oh, that was close. Odd pills. What was I talking about? Drugs? Cinemas? Ah, yeah. So I went to the cinema one Monday, I can't remember the film, and a couple of young people behind me would be really, really noisy, so I turned around and said, "Excuse me, could you please be quiet?" At which point they made more noise, at which point I said, "Alright, shut it guys, be quiet." They weren't very happy. Anyway, after the film, I left the cinema to find three of the guys standing out in front of the cinema with a machete or a meat cleaver or something. It's one of those things they use in a kebab shop for cutting the meat. God knows what that meat is. Anyway. I didn't feel much like fighting against a machete, and I wasn't sure if I should run away. One of them came up to me and grabbed me by the shirt collar and pushed me up against a wall. I can't remember what they said. It wasn't very friendly for them. And the other one walked up to me with a big knife, and I swear I thought he was just going to stick it into me. The whole process took about a minute. Meanwhile, I remember it was end of work time and the streets were filled with people walking back home from work. And a circle, and it was next to a bus station, so there were people hanging around, hanging out, just waiting. And a circle formed around us of people who were standing, waiting for me to be punctured by these three, I don't know if they were Turkish or Greek kids, saying, "This is our area, stay out of our cinema." Of course, idiot me was thinking, it's my country. But it doesn't really matter to them, does it? They mark their territory with their society and their habits, and their shops, and their cinemas, and their fashions, and their churches, and their schools. So I really thought I had had it, as they say. I thought that was it. At which point one man stepped out of the crowd and walked over to these three young guys and said something to them. I don't know what he said. But he then turned to me and said, "Go, get out of here." At which point I shrugged off the person holding me and just ran through the crowd. And ran and ran and ran and didn't look back. Now you were the guy who just risked your life passing the traffic back there. And now you're going slow on the highway. Anyway, that's the city for you. Fueled by all that's good and all that's bad, cities tend to congregate a certain kind of intelligentsia who are able to share their ideas. See the great schools of England then fill all those government jobs, corporate positions, work for foundations, and parallel institutions like Tavistock. Frankfurt. And they fill those giant buildings of government. With madness going on. Lived in different places in London. They were all insane places. Lived in what was that place? Muswell Hill. The place where people live who don't have enough money to live in Highgate. Lived somewhere else in the north as well. Stayed in Finsbury Park for a while. It's just an odd melting pot or cauldron of activity forever lively, but there's a great need to be wary and aware when you live in the city. It's not like this. It's not like the mecca of Banskoby streets, where there's where there's no real street that you can't walk down. I think that when you're young, you're attracted by the bright lights syndrome, curious about what exactly the city is like, especially if you don't grow up there. So many people in one place. Now I have to focus on where I'm going to park. I'm going to park here. Get out of my way. Don't take that the wrong way. That's a very nice car you've got. What the hell are you afforded that? Questions. Why fourth questions? Excellent. How did this start? I don't even know how I started. I just thought I'd share something. It's crazy you can live in a place like a city. You know, most of the people I know living in London have failed lives. They live alone, no kids. I don't know if it's sad or scary. Maybe it's both. City for you. Everyone entertained. Maintained, eventually deep.